What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers are ridiculously stacked. I really love this roster. I really love this depth front to back. I think we are one of, if not the most deep rosters in the entire league. Our starting unit should be great. You got D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, Anthony Davis. This most likely is going to be the starting five. I don't think they paid Rui, 18, 17 million a year to have him come off the bench, right? They didn't just give D'Angelo Russell 18.5 million a year to come off the bench. This is going to be our starting unit, which I think is really nice. Nice balance. We'll see if Austin Reeves can replicate what he did in the back half of last year as well as the playoffs. And Rui Hachimura, same thing. Can he replicate what we saw? If they can, the Lakers are going to be very good. LeBron James and Anthony Davis, the beauty of this depth, this talent, this roster, especially when you're looking at it front to back, they don't have to carry a workload, right? So a couple things. One, the Lakers shouldn't start 2-10. So you're not going to have this uphill battle and this uphill climb all season long where it's like, man, every game you have to play as a game 7. LeBron James and Anthony Davis have to play 40 minutes a game just for you to survive. You don't really have a real roster. You're undersized. It's just an absolute mess. Oh, here comes the trade deadline. Can we pull something off? Oh, we get Rui Hachimura. Oh, we make a big trade and we get D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, right? Malik Beasley. Oh, we trade from Obama. And it was like, okay, cool. How is this going to look? Oh, it looks really good. Oh, now we're in the playoffs. Oh, now we're in the Western Conference Finals. It was just bam, 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 bam. But it was exhausting, right? Like, yeah, from a fan perspective, it was exhausting. Now, imagine how the players felt when they came over. Now you're going to have a full offseason, a full training camp, a full preseason, a full regular season to do what you need to do, handle business the way you need to handle it. You're not 7 guys deep. You're literally 13 guys deep, and the Lakers still have roster spots. You have more size, more shooting. Guys should be better, right? Austin Reeves should be better over the course of the whole season than he was last year. Rui should be better over the course of the whole season than he was last year. D'Lo, he should get more comfortable, and he's always been a very good regular season guy. We'll see how it looks in the playoffs, but we know that he's a great regular season guy, so you shouldn't have to worry about it there. And then you go to the bench, and it's like you got Gabe Vincent, who yes, there's an argument Dennis Schroeder is a better player. I think defensively, they're kind of a wash. Gabe Vincent's a little bigger. I think Gabe Vincent is a better shooter. And also, I think Dennis Schroeder is a better just scorer. Like, he's better at just getting his own shot, getting to the basket, being more of a 3-level scorer, although I don't think he's great at being a 3-level scorer. But Gabe Vincent, I think, is a better fit for this current roster, as well as I think he's more consistent. And he's really good at the things that he's good at. And I think that those things are valuable for the Lakers. So you look at him, you look at Taurean Prince, right? We didn't have anywhere close to that, right? A 6'7" guy that can guard basically 1 through 5 if you need him to. A guy that can shoot 38% from 3. Guy that's hard-nosed, is going to get after it, going to play hard. You got Jared Vanderbilt, who's just been working on his corner shot all offseason. So you imagine he's going to be better shooting. He's an elite defender. Then you got Jackson Hayes, who's a little raw, don't get me wrong, but he is a great pick and roll defender for a big man. Great athleticism, great in the dunker spot. He's got a good little sort of floater in the lane. He's going to be impactful. He's young. He's engine, athletic, all that stuff, running big, which the Lakers need, especially when they're running out. And then Cam Reddish is definitely a project, but he has all the potential in the world, and this was a top 10 pick. Right, this is a guy that 6'8", 6'9" in size, can play 2 through 5 if you need him to, guard all those positions, guard 1 through 5 if you need him to. Like, he is very versatile. Lakers didn't have all this stuff, right? And that is going to take so much of a burden off of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And so when you're talking about LeBron and AD, how do the Lakers approach this season with them? So for starters, you know LeBron and AD are going to miss at least 20-plus games, right? LeBron, load management, call it little tic-tac injuries, call it he's going to be 39. Anthony Davis, he's going to get something. He did show he can stay healthy and fight through little injuries and even maybe a severe injury. I mean, he had that foot issue and was able to still play through it and all that stuff. So I do imagine that He does that, but he's still just going to miss games, right? There's still going to be question marks there. The beauty is that this is a roster that even if you tomorrow took off LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they're not a contending team, but they're still a team that I think is good enough to at least maybe get to the play-in, if not the playoffs, and do it rather handily, right? This is a very good, well-balanced team with guys that have proven that they can handle the load. So you have LeBron James, you have Anthony Davis. They're going to play, let's call it 56 games, right? So let's say they miss 26 games each. In those 56 games, you're probably winning 80% of those. And then the 26 that they miss, I think you're winning at least half, if not more of those with this current roster. So I do think that is hugely beneficial. But the other thing is, too, with this deep roster is you don't have to play LeBron James and Anthony Davis more than 30 minutes a game, right? Now, there will be moments where you will, right? It's a tight game. Let's say you're playing the Bucks, trying to get this win. It's a tight game. 4 minutes left. LeBron and AD are at 30 minutes. You're not going to say, okay, well, we want to keep them under 30 minutes, so let's take them out. No, you play them the 34 minutes that game, and you're good. And you go try to win the game, right? But over the course of the regular season, you're going to have 4 games against Portland and 4 games against, all the bad teams, right? And then you're gonna play like the middle of the pack teams, right? The teams like that are trying to be you shouldn't have to play LeBron James and Anthony Davis more than 30 minutes against 90% of the league, right? Like the top teams, like you're playing Denver, you might have to play LeBron James and Anthony Davis 35 minutes, but still, you shouldn't have to play them 40 minutes, right? That's a big difference. So their minutes and their mileage on their body should be significantly lower, which should help. If you're the Lakers, though, do you sit them like 30 games or 35 games, right? Because, again, the Lakers should not go off to a 2-10 start, right? The Lakers should be, if anything, the opposite of that. But let's be realistic. Let's say in their first 12 games, they are 8-4, right? And then through the first 20 games, they are, let's call it 12-8, right? So you're keeping track, you're staying ahead, you're kind of coasting, right? You're doing good. Okay, well, let's sit LeBron James and Anthony Davis against Detroit, right? Okay, well, we beat Detroit. Who do we got next? Okay, we got, the Spurs. Okay, let's keep them sitting against the Spurs. Okay, we just beat the Spurs. All of a sudden, now you're 14-8, right? Like, I think the Lakers, I think there's an argument to be made to have the Lakers kind of pick and choose spots to get these guys rest. Now, obviously, if they get an injury or something like that, then you can't control that. But if the goal is to keep them as fresh as possible and to keep them as ready for the regular season or for the playoffs as possible, then I think you are going to load manage them. And I think you got the depth and you have the talent to do so, right? You're not in a position to where it's like, man, if Anthony Davis misses a stretch, like we're in trouble, right? Like, no, like, yes, we do need another big, don't get me wrong, but I do think that this roster is talented enough to where you will be okay, right? I think this roster is talented enough to where you can still win a good majority of your games without Anthony Davis. Same thing with LeBron, right? Like, even more so with LeBron, right? I think if you took Anthony, like if LeBron sat this entire season, I don't think that's going to happen. But let's say LeBron sat this entire season and just played the last 10 games just to get ready for the playoffs. I actually still think that this Lakers team, with Anthony Davis and the rest of this roster, I think can at least be the 6th seed. Like, I do. And maybe that's just me being overly optimistic. I don't think it is. I think this roster has some real talent, has some real players, and I think can win more games than otherwise, even without LeBron James. So with that, I think, again, you look at it and you go, okay, we got a talented roster. We got enough depth. We got everything. LeBron just kind of coast, right? LeBron's so good, he's going to get his 20 just by being on the court, right? I mean, we've seen that. We've seen LeBron at halftime have 2 points, and then by the time the game's over, he's at 25. And it's like, when did he get 23 points? Like, how did that happen? And it's just because he's just able to do it. He's able to get hot all of a sudden, knock down a couple threes, or just walk to the basket because he's bigger, faster, and stronger than everybody still, right? Like, so I'm not worried about LeBron going and getting his. He's already got the scoring record, so anything above that is just icing on the cake. So I don't think he'll have the incentive to go and drop 30 a game, right? Like, I don't think that that's something that he's going to absolutely have to do. And I also think that LeBron probably was at a point where it was like, we're not winning anything this year, so I might as well just go get the scoring title, right? And I think that ended up in the long run being detrimental to the Lakers. Because if we had LeBron before injury, I actually think we beat the Denver Nuggets. That's just me personally. I do. Because literally, we just needed one person to step up and play bigger. LeBron would have went from like 20 points a game to 30 points a game. I think that would have been the difference. I also think he would have been able to close more down the stretch. Now that LeBron sees this roster, I think LeBron will play this season out smarter. I really do think LeBron last year looked at it as like, we might not even make the play-in. If I'm going to kill myself, I might as well kill myself to go and get the scoring title rather than the NBA championship. So let me really grind this out and do what I need to do in order to go get that rather than the NBA championship. And then we, at the trade deadline, ended up getting a roster that was good enough to maybe win the whole thing. And at that point, it was too late. LeBron was already hurt. It was already a mess. Like, it changed everything. So I do think this year, LeBron will be approaching this season differently. I think AD will be approaching this season differently. And I think the Lakers as a whole will be approaching this season differently. But those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. How do you think the Lakers should approach LeBron James and Anthony Davis this year? How do you think that they will approach the season with this Lakers team this year? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below.